Okay, so
Apologies for the slight delay at the start. So we have apologies for non-attendance from Councillor Carr. Councillor Irving is substituting. And apologies from Andy Frost, the independent co-opted.
And King, we had Councillor King was on
so Councillor King, we were told she was on the way.
There was some sort of problem on the
I think we'll best note her apologies.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you. So, do we have any declarations of interest? No. Okay. So, well, welcome to the meeting. You've got the paperwork in front of you referencing how this should work. So, I'd like to welcome the candidate tonight, and apologies for it taking rather longer than we thought it might. So thank you for your attendance. So we will go to sorry. Right, so if the panel members would just like to introduce themselves, I thought that would be useful. So I'll start with myself, so I'm Councillor David Smith, and I'm the chair of that.
microphone. So I'm Councillor David Smith, and as you're aware, I'm chair of this police fire and crime panel.
Councillor Jill Mercer from Northamptonshire Council, I'm vice chair.
Councillor Russell Roberts, Northamptonshire Councillor.
Councillor Fiona Baker, West Northants Councillor and Cabinet Member for Children's Services.
Hello, I'm Andre Gonzalez, the Savage, West Northants Councillor.
I'm Dorothy Maxwell, Northants Council.
Hi, welcome. I'm Dr. Carolyn Cos. I'm an independent member.
Hey, welcome. I'm Councillor Zoe McGee from Northants Council.
Councillor Wendy Randall, West Northants Council.
Hi, welcome. My name is Pauline Woodhouse and I'm one of the co-opted independent member of this panel.
Hi, I'm Councillor Philip Irwin from Northants.
Thank you. So do any of the panel members wish to raise any questions around the statutory responsibilities or the process to be followed for this confirmation hearing? Andre Gonzalez.
Thank you, Chair. My concerns are that we don't have sufficient paperwork in front of us or submitted ahead of this meeting to make a decision fully. And I have no issues in terms of perhaps the candidate, but frankly, anybody applying for a role in any business, in any area, should willingly want to supply a CV to those people who are being asked to make a decision about that. Now, we are being asked here at the confirmation hearing to make a decision, and I'd find it incredibly difficult to make that based on the information that we have, because I think there's something missing, and it is a CV. We hold to account the individuals, as we know, the commissioner, and this is a person or role that would be a deputy commissioner, but could absolutely need to be in a situation of taking on the full role of commissioner if the commissioner was not able to be present for any reason, say long-term sick or not available. That particular individual would be taking on the role of commissioner. Now we know the commissioner, we know her very well, politically and publicly, and I do feel that the same we should really be aware of. We should really be aware of the individual coming towards us today.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, clearly this has been the flavour of this afternoon, I think, hasn't it? So I'll refer to James. Well, in fact, yeah, we'll go to the monitoring officer. Certainly, I mean, whilst certainly I've looked at other panels in appointments of deputies, and they do seem to present a CV. It's not a requirement, but as I said earlier, I don't have to say please and thank you, but I do. But I'll
Absolutely. If I may just caveat that, quite clearly we've had issues publicly about CVs of individuals that have been called into question in all service areas in senior positions, and I think that therefore it would be incumbent of us to absolutely challenge anybody who is approaching a position of importance, that we should have their CV and question it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll refer to the monitoring officer now.
Well, I mean, I don't know that I've ever come across a scenario before where the panel has decided that they haven't got sufficient information to proceed, but I do need to tell you what will happen if you decide not to proceed today, which is effectively that we have to hold this meeting within 21 days of the Commissioner making the decision to do that. If we don't hold it within 21 days, then the Commissioner can go ahead, is my understanding, and make the appointment without the panel having the chance to comment. So that's the potential consequence if we adjourn today and don't deal with this, is that potentially we don't have another panel because you go ahead and appoint without the panel's say so. And to be fair, the Commissioner will have complied with her responsibilities in notifying us of her intention to appoint, and effectively the panel won't then have been afforded that opportunity. So that's the position. I mean, I can, that doesn't stop, you reaching agreement with the Commissioner as to an alternative way forward, possibly that a CV could be provided or a meeting could be provided at a later date, but that is the position if there is no agreement reached.
So could it be that the Commissioner could withdraw the candidate and then represent the candidate, but along with supporting documents? I'm just asking the question there.
My sense is that isn't the case. I mean, I think if you have a genuine concern about whether or not you're going to proceed with the appointment, you can withdraw the candidate on the basis that there is a doubt about whether or not you proceed with the appointment, which of course we have precedent of in this area, but there was a very legitimate reason for that on that occasion. This is not that situation. As far as I'm understanding it, the Commissioner wishes to proceed with the appointment, therefore she shouldn't be withdrawing that appointment. I mean, I'm happy to take Johnny's advice.
Shall I come in as well? So firstly, to say thank you to Kath and officials of the panel who facilitated adding this to to today's Board Affair. I really appreciated your flexibility and support in that. I don't, and the Commissioner will speak for herself, but I wouldn't imagine we're intending to withdraw a candidate. If, as you've said, the paperwork that you have fulfills the legal requirements, if there's a sense that it should have gone further or I could have given more detail and professional background, I think that's something that we could address in questioning today. I know that Marianne would love to tell you about her career background in greater detail and to give you that rich picture of her rich career history. But when it comes to CVs, we normally construct those in order to apply for jobs, and this isn't an application for a job. It's not like the process that Vaughan and I undertook and on which you scrutinised us. As the Commissioner said, this is a political appointment, so I think you'll get the evidence you need from the conversation today, is my perspective on that.
Okay, thank you for that, Johnny. I mean, in our pre-meeting we were quite clear, as I say, yes, I absolutely agree. Yes, you don't have to do certain things, but I think in light of everything that's gone on over the past 12, and that was discussed in the pre-meeting, so I just want the panel to be assured of that. So I think, I mean, there's various people want to speak, but I think, to be honest, it's not fair on the candidate to do anything other than to get on with the business of the confirmation. So I know you'd all like to speak, but I think it's not fair to do anything other than to proceed as you would normally. We are where we are. We've got what we've got. We have the candidate here again. Thank you for coming. So we can ask some more questions, and I'm sure the candidate will be more than happy to answer those questions. So if we can just get a bit of cheer in the room, and if we we will continue. So on that, I would invite this Vice Commissioner to outline the proposed appointment and introduce the candidate. And so
maybe we just have a little reset, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. It gives me really great pleasure to introduce Marianne Kimani to you as my preferred candidate to undertake the role of Deputy Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner. You're being asked to confirm that appointment in line with the political and lawful requirements, so I take that really seriously. I've asked Marianne to be my deputy for the following reason. She's got a background in criminology, she's got a background looking at really quite serious complaints in the health service. As a result of both those things, she's acquired the ability to be really have a critical edge to her analysis, to look for problem solving, to be reflective, to look for solutions, to work collaboratively with partnerships, and to ensure change is positive and meets the requirements of the context. Oh, sorry. This really isn't good enough, Chair, is it? Hope nobody's watching on YouTube. In all the huge tasks that we have got ahead of us to restore community trust, to restore trust in the police and in the law, we need to go out to communities, to local organisations, to our statutory partners, and everywhere that we possibly can to rebuild those relationships and those trusts. It's a huge job. It's a job that's really, really important to me. I need more capacity in order to help me deliver that. Marianne will be part of the senior leadership team in my office. She will be supported by the senior leadership team in the office. She will deputise for me where that's necessary. Do you want this one? They're all the same, aren't they? She will also, when appointed, take on her own particular portfolios that she will report back to you on, as well as reporting back to me on, of course. And she will be part of constructing and delivering the Police, Fire and Crime plan. I'm really excited about this proposition. I've met all the other PCCs in the country since I've been elected. All of them recommend having a deputy. And all the new PCCs, as far as I am aware, have that in hand as a process. So Marianne will be engaged with the network of national deputies and be able to make a contribution on the national stage as well. We're really, really concerned to push Northamptonshire forward in terms of innovative and effective practice nationally. And that, for me, that's particularly important given damage to our reputation over the last couple of years. So I would really like to commend Marianne to you. I know that she's really up for presenting who she is to you herself and to answering any questions that you may have.
Thank you. So do any of the panel members have any questions relating to the proposed appointment? To questions? Yeah? So we're going to go directly to the questions then. Can you speak? Yes, of course.
So good afternoon all. Thank you for having me. It's nice to meet all of you. As you've heard, my name is Marianne Kimani. It's been an interesting afternoon, I have to say. And I'm really glad to be here, and I'm really excited for the challenge that is ahead of me working with the Commissioner. My name, as you've heard, is Marianne, and I'm a mother. Let me start off saying that. I'm a mother, and I have worked within mental health services. I've been doing serious incident investigations for a local mental health provider, which gave me the opportunity to work with different stakeholders. So representing patients, representing families, representing, working with the police, safeguarding, and all the other stakeholders involved in safeguarding vulnerable adults with mental health. Not only adults, but also children. What that gave me is the ability also to interact and to represent and advocate for patients who have come to harm, and make sure that their needs and those of their families are represented and they are well spoken for. I speak well on their behalf. The other thing that I've done in my life is also I've been a registered manager with Quality CQC, which is the Care Quality Commissioner. So I've worked as a manager for over 8 years, which was working with residential care homes for young people with mental health. So young people are really dear to me, and I really am mindful of the needs that we have in our communities in serving the next generation. On top of working as a manager, I've also worked as a youth mentor within our community. I've had a youth group that I've been running since 2012, and I've seen those young people go through school, go through universities. Some of them are married and have children, and that is a great achievement for me to be able to be a mentor to young people and see them turning up to be responsible citizens, and that's what we are looking for our young people. I have worked, of course, you've heard, it was mentioned earlier, I worked as a special constable, so I have been on the side where I'm enforcing the law, and unfortunately, I've also been a victim of crime. So being a victim of crime and being a person who is enforcing the law gives me a privilege of working in both ways. In a way, I understand what it feels like to be a victim of crime and the support that I needed and the support that lacked in that support. I did not feel I got everything that I would have gotten as a victim. Working with the police, I also identified some of the gaps in terms of how the police engage with the communities, and therefore what I bring to the table is that experience of mental health, working within mental health services. I'm sure you're all aware the challenges all the police forces are having within, across the country, how our resources are going towards supporting mental health services because we are lacking the staff in mental health care services to take care of our patients. So, and a lot of our resources are being drained from police forces trying to support the health and social care and supporting mental health services. The other thing that I have done and have been doing quite well is I've been sitting on the panel for use of force and stop and search panel, scrutiny panel, which we had one last night. And I have to say that panel has contributed, was one of the things that was rated good in our inspection. So I am used to looking at problems, using the root cause analysis, identifying the problem, looking at the contributory factors, what is the problem, what is the reason why we are having these problems, looking at the recommendation and following that into an action, a smart action plan. And my success is looking at what I deem as success is when we have something that came as a problem, we have worked through it, we've done it through the investigation, because I've done very numerous investigations in my time. I've done that over 10 years. And some of the investigations I've done are really complex investigations. Some are historic investigations. Some are unfortunately death. And so I have to be very meticulous in looking at the root causes and not just identifying what is the root cause, but also providing recommendations and also following through with the actions and seeing those actions turn into policies that mitigate future risk. That is what I've done in the past.
Thank you. So we'll go to the questions then. There may be some supplementary questions come forward. So apologies to the panel, whether I've got this right list, who's got which question, but if I'm wrong, apologies now. So the first question from Councillor Roberts.
May I call you Marianne?
Yes, you can.
Welcome to Northamptonshire.
Thank you. I live here.
To this bit of Northamptonshire. Why do you want to be the Deputy Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner for Northamptonshire? I think you've said a lot about that already, but it would be nice to know, what is it that's attracting you to take this challenge on?
I feel everything that I've done up to this point. My academic background was in social policy and criminology. So the idea of working and looking at the causes of crime and looking for solutions it's not something new to me. It's something that I've always been interested in. And the reason why I came to that, it was due to a personal experience. And I didn't want injustice and I don't like injustice at all. So the reason why I want to be a deputy police commissioner is because I want to influence change from the root, not just fixing problems with fixing from the end, but just to be involved in the process of having policy input. I bring with me a wealth of knowledge and information and experiences, some good and some, unfortunately, as I said, being a victim of crime. Those are the things that make me want to be in a place where I can influence change. I can represent both the people who are lawmakers. I can represent the people who are also victims of crime. That's why I want to do this.
Could I ask a supplementary? Part of what you're going to do is to support the commissioner.
Yeah.
Have you been in that role before, or would that be a new role for you?
I've had to support I've had managers, I've had line managers, I've reported to directors. So working under leadership is not something new. I've always had to do that. So I am comfortable reporting and working under the commissioner and reporting to and responding to her direction.
Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, question 2 from Councillor Baker.
Thank you. Welcome to Northamptonshire Crime Panel, because I know you said you lived here already, so it's... what do you see as the main challenges currently facing the Office of the Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner, and what are the main ways in which you can assist the Commissioner to address these, if appointed to Deputy Commissioner?
From what the Commissioner outlined in terms of her priorities, is that idea of making Northamptonshire safer and making people feel safer and enhancing the way people feel about safety. The other thing I know we have a challenge is getting the people to believe and having confidence in the policing. That is really key, because we cannot police people who do not believe in what we are enforcing. So I believe that my role is to support the Commissioner and to ensure that those priorities that she has in place, that I support that. And the challenge is making sure that we get the public to believe in what we're doing. It's that trust, and in the trust of the people.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the third question is from me, Marianne. So again, welcome. What would you identify as the key areas of focus for the Deputy Commissioner to support the Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner in the development of her Police, Fire and Crime Plan?
I would say it's coming up with a plan the Commissioner has spoken about, and what my role is going to be in that plan, and what are my responsibilities in ensuring that plan is coming to, we are able to implement it. The Commissioner has the plan, and we are coming up with a plan, and it's going to involve other people in the public sector and speaking to the communities, and coming up with that plan is where I'll see my place and what I'll need to do in it, and I'm sure I'll work under the direction of the Commissioner.
Thank you. And apologies for asking this. Do you drive?
Yes, I do.
You do. Okay, thank you. And the next question is from Councillor Maxwell. And apologies for the honking.
What specific knowledge and experience in relating to policing, fire and rescue or community safety will you be able to bring in the role of Deputy Commissioner? And given that the residents do not know about this appointment, are you aware of this?
The first part of the question. What I bring is my experience from working as a special for the time I was there. That experience it's not the kind of experience you can learn in a classroom. You have to learn it on the job, and understanding some of the challenges the police have. That is what I bring with me, that experience, hands-on experience. That is what I'm going to be bringing. About people not knowing, I'm sure there are people who do not know that I have been appointed, but I think it's our responsibility to make sure that people know and we represent this office well. And I intend to represent this office with honor and integrity so that people, when they know of it, they will know that we have done the right thing.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Please do.
Right, my follow-up question is that I personally, this is my view, I don't see this being transparent because I feel that when people go for any role, whether it be...
Councillor Maxwell, that's really not a question for the candidate. So. I feel that we should have seen your CV basically for this. Again, that's exactly, yeah. So apologies, Marion. We'll go to the next question, question 5 from Councillor Mercer.
Thank you. Welcome. If appointed Deputy Commissioner, what knowledge and skills will you be able to bring to the role that will assist you in understanding the geographic, social and economic nature of Northamptonshire and community safety in the county?
I'm sure some of you in the room know that I've just come from a political campaign which took me across some of the very beautiful countrysides that we have in Northamptonshire. So that opportunity of meeting people, speaking to people at different places, that experience cannot be undermined. The skills, I don't remember the other part of the question.
Knowledge and skills to bring to the role in understanding the geographic, social and economic nature of Northamptonshire.
So I think I've answered the part B of the question. The part A of that question, the skills and that I bring, having worked as a manager and managed different diverse teams, different places, working with different stakeholders, that skill, the ability to work with different people, the ability to communicate effectively what needs to be done, the ability to put the vision forward, the ability to work with different people and making sure that we work together to achieve the objectives that we have, that is what I bring. The ability to stand and have some difficult conversations when need be. That's what I'm going to bring in terms of my skills and abilities.
Chairman. I appreciate you've been doing a lot of travelling across Daventry, and Commissioner Stone knows Northampton very well. What about the north? I mean, Northamptonshire, Kettering, Corby, East Northampton, it's a vast area. Do you anticipate getting out to those areas to get to know them?
That is the plan, to go out and go to every part of this, and meet people wherever I need to go. So Kettering, Corby, that is the plan of the duties I'm going to be undertaking.
Thank you. Councillor Irwin. Number 6.
Thank you. So this is a question about real-life application of skills here. You've spoken quite eloquently about the problem-solving that you've done in previous roles. So please could you give an example of when you've used critical analysis, reflection and problem-solving type skills to complete a task or deal with a challenge successfully?
As a result of one of my investigations, we had an issue that we needed to work with stakeholders, mainly the police, because working within mental health, there was a question of why we need the police when the staff can deal with the matter. And so sometimes when we asked for help, that help did not come. And one of the things that I was able to facilitate is the meeting between the mental health provider and the police quarterly to discuss some of the cases where were able to, why we call the police and the needs that arose for us to call the police. And we were able to work out a plan and agree on a policy on the times we could call the police for help and the other times when we were expected to manage the incidences ourselves. And that came about as a result of my investigation and identifying there was a problem when we called for help as clinicians and the police did not come. So now that is in existence where the police are meeting with the clinicians and discussing any cases they feel that could have been managed differently. So I am very proud of that work I did.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gonzalez-Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hello. I'd like to ask you question number 7, which is how do you intend to ensure that as Deputy Commissioner you represent all communities across the whole of Northamptonshire?
When we talk about representation, I think it goes without saying, as a black woman, some of the challenges I've had myself is that lack of representation. So I'm very sensitive when it comes to issues about representation. That is something that I'm really mindful of. Representation, we are only as strong as our weakest person in our community. So we need to make sure the people who are vulnerable within our communities are taken care of. That's the only way we are going to be strong. And therefore, I'm mindful about the people who have mental health. I'm mindful about the youth. I'm mindful about the people the elderly and who are isolated within the rural community. I'm mindful of all the different groups because I, as one, have experienced that feeling of not being well represented. So I'm very mindful of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Number 8, Councillor Randall, please.
Hi, Marianne. How do you intend to build effective relationships with stakeholders as the Deputy Commissioner? And have you got any examples of when you have engaged with different partners in the past and any skills that you've developed as a result of this?
I could think of a million examples, but I'm just going to go one that is a professional one. One of the things is managing the resources, making sure we manage the resources, that we don't duplicate work. And that is working with stakeholders. And one of the things that I learned doing investigations is that within Northamptonshire, you could find that one incident has happened, it's been investigated by safeguarding, the General Hospital is investigating, the provider is investigating. So it's the same incident, but it's just been duplicated. So over that, I've learned when to interact with other stakeholders to ensure that we do not waste resources. So for me, it's important that we work together, because when we work together, that's the only way we'll be able to, first of all, nothing gets missed, because we know what's happening elsewhere, and also we'll be able to save money where we can by not duplicating the work. So that is some of the skills that I've gathered working with different people. And also, working with people means that we are in touch with the community. I want to be the Deputy Commissioner that is on the ground, speaking to people and feeding back to the Commissioner some of the findings that I find when I go out into the field.
Thank you, Marianne.
Hello, Marianne. So this question really is around about kind of when you've led a significant project. So if you think about, I have this thing about rhetoric and reality and what's real, and I think you've done an awful lot, because obviously you've explained a lot of that. But could you give an example when you've led a significant project in a relevant area and what challenges you faced in doing that? And then in particular, how you ensure that the project was delivered successfully. So actually you achieved the outcome. So you've put it all together, you led it through, what your challenges, and that you actually delivered a successful outcome. Could you just give me an example of that? You've probably got hundreds of it.
I could go back to the one I was talking about, the police. Due to doing different investigations and working with the coroners and working with the safeguarding and all the different stakeholders, it's one of the things I notice is that wastage of staff time and that outcome of investigating by different people. So I made it a project in making sure that I have these meetings lined up. I've gotten in touch with the people who are responsible, and I've made sure that there were smart measures so that we can make sure we are able to measure what we are doing. So I'm keen in terms of working with stakeholders. I'm keen in having projects where I start from the very beginning to the very end. All my investigations, I took them as projects, because what I needed to do is where there's a problem, is how do I get to the point where we get to the smart action and how those actions are now implemented and then they're embedded into the policy and into actions.
So just thinking about kind of safeguarding, there's clear statutory legislation, Care Act, Mental Capacity Act. It's really clear about how processes should be managed during investigations. So when you're doing your projects, how do you kind of work within that statutory framework so that you actually work with partners in a way that's meaningful and deliverable? Because I know I know it's a very complicated area, but it's very clear about that. Sorry.
Doing that kind of operational work won't be. It was her role, but it won't be as the deputy. Yeah.
But I can just say that to do that, it's making sure I have terms of reference at the very beginning of the investigation, and then I know who I need to get in touch with. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
So, question 10, Councillor Gonzalez-Savage.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask the question is, what do you see as your weakness, and how would you intend to grow your skill and understanding in the areas in this role? And quite clearly, we don't have a copy of your CV, so we can't compare that. So therefore, the answers could be there. Thank you.
My weakness, I could be over-helpful. I've learned over time to say no. It's not the easiest thing to say, but I've learned over time when to say no. But I could say one of my weaknesses in the past was being over-helpful. Over-helpful.
Thank you. Dr. Cuss, you...
Giving you number 11s.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry, I did warn you.
Sorry. Okay, so I've got another one. So it's a little bit about what your understanding is of the relationship of accountability between the police, fire and crime commissioner, the chief constable and the chief officer and the police and crime panel. So it's kind of your understanding of those relationships. The accountability between that? Yeah.
This is where I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to rely on the staff who are in position to guide me. Because as you can tell, I'm coming from a different setting, and I'm coming to a new setting. And I understand from the commissioner, she has a team and she's got staff, and I'm going to rely on them to guide me on what I need to understand, what is paramount. But I am sure that working within the police and the fire is paramount in terms of keeping our community safe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Number 12 from Councillor Mercer.
Thank you. As Deputy Commissioner, one of your key responsibilities could be to represent the views of the Commissioner to relevant stakeholders and local residents. How would you approach a situation if your personal viewpoint conflicted with that you're representing on behalf of the Commissioner?
One of the things the Commissioner mentioned at the very beginning is the reason why she is appointing me is because we have very similar way of how we view the community and our service to the community. Any issues that we have that we might not always agree, we will work them amongst ourselves. I will not be going to the stakeholders and having a discussion with them. My responsibility is to representing the office with honor and integrity, and to making sure that I effectively communicate what the Commissioner wants me to communicate.
Thank you. And question 13 from Councillor McGee.
Thank you. Before I ask my question, Marianne, I want to congratulate you on conducting yourself with such gracefulness and such passion, and it's really lovely and really refreshing actually to see someone come in and do that. It's just very lovely. So, my question is, what do you believe the relationship between the Office of the Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner and as a panel should be, and if appointed, how will you seek to develop that relationship?
The panel is here for a reason, and it's to do what exactly you're doing, the scrutiny. And it's important because that's how we are accountable to the public as well. So the relationship I would expect and I would want to enhance is that working together relationship where we know when you come and ask the questions, it's because you want the best for Northamptonshire. And what we do and every decision that we're going to be making is in the interest of Northamptonshire. So I do not have a problem at all whatsoever with people questioning and asking us questions. If I become the deputy, I am mindful that it's really important that I'm asked the questions, because sometimes you can't see everything. You need other people to ask the questions. So I will appreciate the questions.
Thank you. Question 14.
Hi. In undertaking the role of Deputy Commissioner, how will you seek to demonstrate that you're achieving value for taxpayers' money?
I think the key is to have smart actions, and the key is speaking to the people and them the feedback that we receive from the community. How we'll know we have done that is when we have identified an issue. For example, if I go out and a community raises a concern, if once we are able to fulfill that and rectify that issue or that risk for them, that for me is success, and that is measurable. The other thing, of course, we want to make sure that Northamptonshire is going to be known as a good place to be referred to, because we are fulfilling, we are rating well, we are doing the things that we need to do, and that's the kind of work that I've always done. So I'm really keen to do it.
Thank you.
And final question from Councillor McGee.
Thank you. Sorry, it's just quite refreshing to have a little bit of passion and loveliness in these meetings, and someone who is clearly very committed. So, if appointed Deputy Commissioner, what will represent success to you in your term?
I think I've just mentioned it in passing. Success is when we have gone out, met communities and sat in communities meetings, and people have raised concerns, and for me to come back and we are able to rectify and get a solution to something, that for me is success. The change of one person's life is the start of many. So that is success to me. Success is when we look at what we have in terms of the future plan that we are going to have, and looking through each one of the plan and seeing that we have been able at least to achieve some of them, if not everything that we are going to put on the plan. So success to me is the difference that we are going to make into the communities. Success to me is me working with my colleagues and working well with them. Success to me is me being able to wake up and look forward to going to work. That is success to me.
Lovely way to end.
Thank you. That concludes the questions. Are there any points that you'd like to clarify, or anything you'd like to cover at the moment that you may have missed during the questions?
I don't think there's anything I've left out. I think although you don't have my CV in front of you, I think you get to understand who I am as a person. I'm passionate about what is before me. I intend, if given the opportunity to do it well, I intend to represent the community well. I intend to be answerable. I intend to do the things that is asked of me, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for coming along today. Yes, of course,
Sorry.
please.
I just want to say to you, Marion, thank you so much. It's so refreshing when you said, you know, a lot can be learned through deep and intrusive questioning. And I hope that yourself, alongside the Commissioner, whatever comes of this meeting today, that lessons have been taken from it. Because for me, sitting as an independent member of this panel, I think it is really important that we ask challenging questions and demand answers of, do you know what I mean? Things that are not said, or we don't want to walk away and think, oh, should have asked this, because actually the public are watching us, they're looking to us, and a lot has gone on, and we're talking about rebuilding trust, we're talking about, you know, a new fresh start. Get all that. So please don't take it as, I know we've been throwing around like the troublesome one in the room or criticism. I don't see it like that. I see this platform as the Commissioner's critical friend, and in terms of us being open and honest when we're looking at how we're using public money. Okay? So thank you so much for today. All right, and good luck.
Thank you. So, just moving on. So, urgent business.
Chair,
There's,
sorry. I have some questions to the Commissioner, if I may. Or to the candidate, I don't mind.
I mean, this is really the questions to the candidate.
That's fine. I can ask the candidate. I have no problem doing so.
Okay.
Thank you. Marianne, may I thank you for being here today, and it's very good to meet you. We didn't have very much information ahead of today's meeting, so it's very difficult to understand who you are, effectively. And I'm sure you appreciate and understand, as it's a publicly funded role, that quite clearly we have to ask questions which are really important for clarity for those people who are not in the room, and we have a duty and responsibility, obviously, to understand them. So can I ask you a couple of questions in terms of the fact that, have you ever held a position in the police other than effectively a special constable, which you had for 2.5 years?
Can I just check? Are you doing due diligence in terms of?
No,
because I want to reassure you that we've done that.
That's fine. I'm just asking a couple of questions. So, have you ever held a position other than that?
You're not interviewing the candidate.
I'm asking a question.
Andre, working with the police is not a requirement of this position.
I appreciate it, but I just want to know.
Okay, that's the well. It's not.
Okay, could I ask?
No, I think.
Could I ask? There's a DBS check being carried out.
That's not a requirement of the role.
We've done the required due diligence under the law, including a very long list of things. There's in legislation some clear things that you can and can't be if you're to be the deputy commissioner, and you can be assured that we've been through that process with Marianne and had assurances on all fronts.
Yeah, so has a DBS check been carried out?
Councillor,
or will it be carried out?
Councillor, please.
Well, I think it's important. This is a publicly funded role, Mr. Chairman.
But there is the role doesn't require a DBS.
I just asked the question: had it been done? Is it yes or a no? And I have to say, without doubt, from that perspective, understanding the responsibility, it could be something that would have to take on the role of the commissioner if the commissioner was unable to complete the role for any reason at all. The deputy, therefore, has to take on that responsibility. So it is important for a publicly funded role to understand whether the DBS check has been carried out. If they want our opinion, we have to be realistic and ask that question.
I just don't think this is the forum.
Can I reassure the panel that both me and Marianne will go through a vetting procedure? We don't have to, but we've elected to, and a DBS is not a requirement of either position. The vetting will be a proper process.
As I stated, I mean, I'm confident in the Commissioner's office that they've gone about this. As I say, I think let's draw a line now. Marianne, please. Thank you for coming.
Sorry, just to pick up on a point that's been raised a couple of times. If the commissioner was incapacitated, suspended, or otherwise unable to carry out the role, the panel would be responsible for appointing an acting police, fire and crime commissioner. So there would be a further check in that situation. It wouldn't be simply a case where a deputy commissioner would accede to the role automatically.
Thank you. So moving to item 5, urgent business. There is no urgent business. Item 6, so the exclusion of press and public. So just over to James just to read that out.
Thank you, Chair. So if I could ask the panel to agree that under Section 100A of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting for the following item of business on the grounds that if the public were present, it would be likely that exempt information under Part 1, Paragraph 1 of Schedule 12A to that Act would be disclosed to them. So if the panel is happy to agree.
So are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Agreed? Thank you. Okay, so we'll